Hello everyone, this is David from the User Experience Group at Finastra, and today will be a longer video than the rest. We're going to do lots of things. Among this, we're going to do an installation of our retail sample app and also create another application on the Finastra developer portal so that you can have access to all the API services, data, and lots of stuff basically. In the end, you will be able to have your own application maybe on the store so that you can get money out of it. Interested? Let's get to it. As usual, starting off from the design system website, but this time we're going to go head over to the use cases and see the one that we have now, which is the retail application, which is just this one. So this page presents you how we built this retail application. So we first went with the user flow, defining the personas, designing the API, the prototypes, high-fidelity designs, and then we built both the sketch elements for which were the core of final Angular components that will build the application in the end, and of course the end code, and the result of that is standing in this GitHub repo for us to use today. So right off the bat in this GitHub repo, you can see from the tags that this application is both written with Angular and Node.js, and today's goal is going to be cloning this repository and launch the application. So if you're not proficient with Angular or Node.js, I think it would be no biggie. Just be sure as a prerequisite to have Node.js 10 or plus installed on your machine, otherwise this will not work. Alrighty, so as you can see, this is a GIF of the final application running, and you can see this application was made using the Finastra design system and from Fabric.cloud for the backend service, in particular the account information US B2C API. So let's roll with the installation. So first we'll clone the Git repo. I've already done this in my VS Code here. And this is the same README, it's just dark because dark mode for the VS Code, of course. And we're continuing from there. So the second step is to register the FFDC application. So you need to register an application on Fabric.cloud developer portal. So let's head on there. So loading developer portal. This is the developer portal. If you do not have an account, click on register. I already got one, so I'm going to sign in. And I'm going to choose that one, put in my password without you to see, of course. Yes, I want to stay signed in. Let's go. And here I am. So let's go over to my dashboard and create a new application. So today's application will be called Wonderful App. Pretty easy, right? And as for this demo, we're going to put a wildcard for reply URLs. In production, put the exact URL of your application. For today, we don't really care. And the API was called account information US B2C. So you see there's two, account information US B2B and B2C. Let's head over to the documentation to get a feel of the difference. Actually, if we can open that in another tab, let's click there. So this is the page of the account information US B2C documentation. So you can see all the different calls that you can get out of this API and the sample response. And on the beginning, you can see this authorization code OAuth flow. So we're using OAuth 2, and let's head over to the documentation to get a better understanding of what that entails. So on the left side, you have the build section, and within you have the OAuth 2 authorization documentation. So as you can see, you have two captions, one with the client credential OAuth flow and one with the authorization code OAuth flow. So these are the two types of OAuth flow that we handle within the developer portal. And to make things easy, we renamed this one to B2B, standing for backend to backend, and that one for B2C, standing for backend to clients. So for more information, you can head over below to see the actual flow in action in the diagram, or the flow for the client, and you see there's a client in the middle sending the credentials. All right, so now that we get a better understanding of what is B2B backend to backend and what is B2C backend to client, we can select the B2C and head over to the next part. So of course, read the terms and conditions. I will not, because I've read them never. And head to next, and you can see a detail or summary of everything that you've selected. So wonderful app with wildcard of reply URLs, no description, no tags, because this is demo. The API is selected, and if that API had some events, they would pop up here and I would be able to select them, but this is not the case today. And last part, create the application. Now I have my wonderful app just right here. So what do we have here? So it's saying warning that you need to generate the keys to start using your application in this tenant flavor. So let's talk first about the tenant flavor. So you have development, test UAT, and production. So to respect these standard development principles or best practices, let's say, we decoupled your application process or development process to use those three different tenant flavors. So first, when you're developing in development, so having access to development APIs. And when you're all good in your development, you can promote your application to test UAT, and it will show up in the second screen. And the client ID and the client secret will be different to use. So that means that you can still develop one app with the development tenant, another app with the test UAT tenant, and another app for the for the production tenant. So moving from stage to stage, validating in each of the stages the states of the application. So all of your QAs usually do their work in the test UAT, and when they give you the go, you can push to production. And as you have different client ID and secrets, you will not mix things up. But for now, we're just having to go with the development. And if we have a look back at our README, we created the application, we have to set up the environment variables, and we want to add the client ID and the client secrets. So the client ID for this development tenant is that one, so I can copy to clipboard. And in the .env file, I will uncomment both of these lines and add my client ID. And I will generate a client secret. So let's say that this was from this local dev, confirm. So the secret value is that one, and I have to say that I've read and acknowledged that this key will never be shown to me again. So if I forgot it or lost it, I need to delete it and create another one. As you can see, it's not being shown here, but I've pasted it here and I have it, so we are good to go. Run npm install, I've done it already, but next step would be to build the server and the client, which I also did. So I will run the server, and my application will be running just there. So you are given with this login page where you have to state a username and a password, both of which are referenced in the README. You can use either that one or that one. I've used the first one. So FFDC user 1, password 123456, and now is your application running locally. So you can select the accounts and you will be shown a display of all the accounts. So all this data come from the development tenant. As you move through the tenant flavors, you will get access to different data. And the transactions are still loading, but we don't care about that. We just want to go to see my account. And this gives you a finer detail over this specific account, and you can do things as transfer, withhold, and lots of things, all thanks to the power of Developer Portal's API. And if that got you interested, be sure to look at all the different APIs that we provide. It's also interesting to view them by solutions. In our case, we're looking at the US consumer banking, and which got all those interesting APIs with different information on how those work in the background. And to sum up all of this tutorial, the last step would be to deploy your application, because once you're done with development, once you've hacked this sample application to make your own, you maybe want to deploy that so that you can share it with someone. So we've added this A really nifty feature is the deploy to Azure button. This button does not work from the VS Code, be aware of that. You have to go on the GitHub because it's linking to a Azure deploy.json. So click on the button from the GitHub and log into whichever account you want to pay from, because the deployment can have a cost. It depends basically on the size of the machine that you're deploying on, but I will not get into the details of that just right now. Just know that this form is all that you need to deploy. Add your client ID and client secret, just as you know how to do now. Purchase, and after a few minutes, your application should be live in the cloud of Azure. That's it for me. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.